payment would be an income-based plan. There are a lot of people who graduate from school who have loan indebtedness, who would like to take on certain jobs, especially jobs that might not pay them a sufficient amount such that they can go out and pay back their loans and live a decent lifestyle. So I believe that if we look at people's incomes and say, okay, look, this kid is making $50,000 graduating from school, $35,000 graduating from school, we should look at the ability of that kid to be able to repay loans or a certain amount of loans based on what he's making, based on his other expenses. But in addition to those two options, I would also agree with a couple of my colleagues who just recently said they would also agree to move forward with some sort of loan forgiveness. I think that people who go out and work in North Carolina and other places for underserved communities should have some percentage of their loans forgiven each year over a period of time such that they could eventually have it all.
Students at the college who had difficulties, who in this day and time, students are not like they were when I was in school. They have major responsibilities at home with families, responsibilities of their own. Many of them work full-time. And so investing in scholarships, I think, is one of the things that we need to do, and I would be supportive of that as your congressman.
If elected, how do you intend to address the specific interests and concerns of North Carolina veterans with respect to homelessness and unemployment? You have 2 minutes to answer the question, and we'll start with Mr. Brandon.
Thank you for the question. It is an important question and an astounding number that we have here. I've always thought that, especially in North Carolina, since we have such a huge military presence and we have such a great university system, and including a great community college system, that much like we have HBCUs, where at North Carolina A&T, if you're looking for an engineer, you know that you can go there and find you an African-American engineer. And you know that UNC Pembroke, if you're looking for Native Americans, you can go there to find that. I must think that we need to have a mechanism the same way that we have in our community college systems and our university systems, that there are specific places where we can have veterans trained, make sure that we're dealing with specific issues that deal with veterans, and making sure that when employers are looking for those particular individuals, they know they have a place that they can go to find that. And I think that because they have such unique issues and such unique responsibilities towards that community, it'd be really great if we had a really specific mechanism where they could come out of combat or come out of serving our country, come into a place where they can get educated, get job skills, and those employers that we should give businesses incentives and tax breaks for hiring those folks, and I think we currently do, but we could probably do more. They would know exactly where to go to find them, and those skills would be ready, set, go. And that's a part of the solution.
Thank you, Mr. Copeland.
I would say one of the profound concerns I've actually developed over the past few weeks, and most recently with the most recent Fort Hood shooting, it's become very evident we've done a terrible job of taking care of our veterans. And I think this is an area where we have two things we need to do. One is there are additional benefits we need to provide to make sure that those who've served us by offering themselves to serve us in foreign lands, they need to make sure that everything is done to provide for them, to make sure their families are taken care of while they're in service, for that matter, but also after they come back. The other thing that I think is important here, and this is a big part of my campaign, is that it's very easy for us to focus on what needs to happen out of Washington. I cannot overemphasize to you the importance of what we do as a people. One of the things that I want to do, we were talking about bringing people together. I think the most important people I want to bring together are the people of the district, across racial lines, across all kinds of other descriptions, even party lines. Because a good part of the time, when we come together as people, we can be problem solvers. I have done this for really a good part of my life, ever since I was a teenager, and helping to address needs, whether it's marriage counseling or other conflicts, other types of things. And I think we can bring those resources together within this community to make sure that we are properly making sure that the needs of the veterans around us are taken care of. I don't know if you're familiar with this, but there were actually Facebook posts that this most recent Fort Hood shooter posted about his mental state and how troubled he was. My question is, are we really watching out for each other? And that's something I'd like to raise consciousness about, that we as families, as communities, as neighbors, we become more